Hello coders, I hope you are coding well. In the previous video, we wrote the code to call getAllTest API, and after this we displayed the response data on the admin dashboard. And in today's video, we will create a new component, add question in the test with routing, and after this in this component we will create a reactive form with form controls and validations in our Angular application. So let's get started. So in our Angular application, first of all, we need to create a new component. And to do this, we will right click on our components folder in the admin module. And after this, we will open this in integrated terminal. And in this terminal, we will write the command as ng g for generate, c for component. And we will name this component as add question in test. And as you can see, our component is ready. Now we need to create routing for this component, and to do this we will open admin routing.module.ts, and in this file in the routes array we will duplicate our create test route, and after this we need to update the path and we will replace this create test with add question. And after this in this route we need to pass a path variable which will be the test id, and to pass the test id in the url we will write slash colon, and after this we will name this as id. And after this we need to update the component and we will replace this create test component with add question in the test component. And with this our routing is completed. Now let's save this file, and after this we need to update the code of our dashboard so we can redirect the user to this component. And to do this we will open dashboard.component.html, and in this file we will update the code for the add question button, and on the click of this button we will redirect the admin to that component. And to do this we will use router link, and in this we will pass the url as slash admin slash add question, and after this we need to pass the test id. And to do this we will write slash, and in this we will inject test dot id. And with this our code is completed in the dashboard component. Now let's save this file and let's run our application. And as you can see our application is up without any errors. Now let's go to the browser and let's validate the functionality of our add question page. And in the browser we will click on this login button, and after this we will enter the details of admin, and after adding the details we will click on this login button, and as you can see we got redirected to the admin dashboard. And on this admin dashboard now let's click on this add question button, and as you can see we got redirected to the add question route, and in this route we can see the id of the test as 2, and after this for the content we can see add question in test works, which is coming from the html file. Now let's go back to our Angular application and let's create the reactive form. And in our Angular application we will open add question in the test folder, and after this we will open the ts file, and in this component in the imports array first of all we will import the shared module, and we will import it from our shared folder. And after this we will create a constructor in this component, and in this constructor first of all we will inject form builder, and we will use this to build our reactive form. And after this we will inject admin service to call the apis, and after this we will inject ng notification service to show the notifications to the user. And after this we will inject router to redirect the user to other routes, and at the end we will inject activated route, and we will use this to get the test id from the url. And after this we will click on quick fix and we will add all missing imports. And after this to store the test id we will create a variable and we will name this as id, and after this id variable we will create a question form, and for the type we will give this as form group, and we will add the import from angular slash forms. And after this we will create ng on init method in this component, and in this method we need to build our question form. And to do this we will write this dot question form is equals to, and after this we will use our form builder and we will call group method, and in this group method we need to mention the controls. And for the first control, we will name this as question text. And after this, for the by default value, we will give this as null. And after this, for the validators, we will give validators dot required. And after this, in the same way, we will create another control with the name of option A. And for by default value, we will set null. And for validators, we will set validators dot required. And after this, we will create a control with the name of option B. And after the option B, we will create the controls with name of option C and D. And at the end, we will create a control with the name of correct option. And with this, our question form is completed in this component. And now we need to get the test ID from the URL. And to do this, we will write this dot id is equals to, and after this we will use activated route, and we will call dot snapshot, and after this we will call params, and from the params we will get id. And with this, our TS code is completed. Now let's save this file, and after this we will open HTML file of this component. And in this HTML file we will create a div, and we will give it a class of parent. And in this parent we will create another div, and we will give it a class of child. And after this, in this child div, we need to create form, and to do this we will use form tag. And in this tag, for the form group, we will bind our question form. And in this form tag, we need to create the form controls. And for the label of the first form control, we will use ng-form label tag. And for the text, we will give this as question title. And after this, for the input, we will create ng-form item tag. And in this ng-form item, we will create ng-form control tag. And for the ng error tip, we will give the error message as this input is required. And after this, in this ng form control, we will create input tag. And in this, for the form control name, we will give this as question text. And with this, our form control is completed for the question title. And after this, we will create another ng form label tag. And for the text, we will give this as option A. And after this, we will create ng-form item and ng-form control tags. And in the ng-form control, we will create input tag. And for the form control name, we will give this as option A. And our form control is completed for the option A. Now let's create another ng-form label tag. And for the text, we will give option B. And after this, we will create ng-form item and ng-form control tags. And in the ng-form control, we will create input tag. And for the form control name, we will give option B. And after this, in the same way, we will create form control for the option C. And then we will create another form control for the option D. And at the end, we will create another form control for the correct option. And after this, we need to create a button to submit this form. And to do this, first of all, we will create a div, and in the style we will give padding bottom as 30 pixel. And in this div we will create button tag, and for the text we will give this as submit. And with this, our HTML code is completed as well. Now let's save this file, and after this we will open CSS file, and in this I will paste the CSS code, and you can pause the video and you can copy this simple CSS. And now let's save this file as well. And as you can see, our application got compiled without any errors. Now let's go to the browser and let's validate the functionality of our add question in the test reactive form. And in the browser on the admin dashboard, let's click on add question button again. And as you can see on this page, we got a reactive form. And in this reactive form, we have the input for the question text and option A, option B, C, D, and correct option. And at the end, we have a button for the submit. And now let's write something in the correct option input. And after this, we will remove this text. And as you can see, we got the error message, this input is required. And that's it for today's video. In the next video, we will write the code to call add question in the test API after getting the data from this form.